Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an Easter bunny floral design. Stay tuned to see the nail magic that we can create. Alright dolls, so we are going to have to remove this builder gel that I had got from Shein. I explained in a previous video that the thumb was lifting. The product wasn't so much lifting off of the thumb as it was that my real nail was pulling away from the skin, and that's because I hit it. But this stuff just does not have enough structure to have extensions. So I'm going in with my coarse safety bit and I'm debulking that, I got all the product off and it was actually super easy. Like, it came off like it's gel polish. There is no way this is any kind of rubber base or builder gel in a bottle. It's just not thick enough. It doesn't have the strength or the structure. And in the bottle, it is thicker than a normal gel polish, but that doesn't mean that it has the strength. Like, gel polish has flexibility. It'll flex, it'll chip. This stuff might as well have been that. As I'm filing, you can just see what little tiny product I had underneath it, and you can see the whole natural nail underneath it. So honestly, I'm surprised that they lasted as long as they did. I think it was like I had to get these off. I hit my thumb, I think, at a week. So this was like a week and 2 days. But then I'm going in with my 180 grit mandrel file. Usually I use the smaller one, but I think I was just crunched for time on this day and I was just trying to get this done. I filmed this a while ago. It was supposed to come out before Easter. It was going to come out the Saturday before Easter, and then my internet went out all weekend. Long story, but I have internet finally, so we can get back into this. I know every time I do a video it feels like I have to tell you about something else that's broken or not working. I'm super over it. But I hope that you guys, for everyone that celebrates Easter, I hope that you had an amazing day. So again, I'm just filing off more product. I went up against my cuticle. I'm pushing the cuticle back. I'm roughening up the growth that's there of my natural nail. I didn't have much because, like I said, this was only like a week out. But there was no way they were going to last. That is it. That's all that I have left. Going in with my ball bit, I started out on 8,000 RPM, and you're going to see in just a second I turned it up to 10. I don't know what I was thinking that my thumbs were going to respond to 8,000. I'm so sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background. I get on this mic and they just start WWEing each other. The whole time I'm just editing, they're just laying there being angels, and they're like, oh, mom's talking, let's raise hell. They're pretty entertaining. Anyways, I got this on 10,000 RPM and I'm going around my cuticle. This is not for use on your actual nail. They do make ones that are for the nail, but this is just supposed to be for the skin. Just getting off the dead skin, any hangnails, really cleaning up the sidewalls and the cuticles and making everything look super nice. So I work it up one side around the cuticle and then down the other side. And like I've said in almost every video, I have very thick cuticles, so I gotta spend some time doing this. But I do this instead of nipping. Whenever I cut my cuticles, I just go overboard. Like, I have no chill, and I take off live skin, so I just avoid it. That's what I'm working with after the ball bit. And then this is after I've cleaned all the dust off. You can like clearly see through. And the only thing I had prior was a little tiny bit of clear builder gel. Eventually, I'm sure I'll have a bruise under that nail. I just don't yet. This is with all the product removed on all the nails. And then I go in with my 100 grit hand file. Guys. Again, just roughing it up and then kind of doing my rough shape. Dehydrate all the nails. And you want them to look crusty dusty when this dehydrator dries in like 3 to 5 seconds. That lets you know that your prep was done right and that you are ready to put a product on there. It doesn't matter what the product is. If it's hard gel, if it's poly gel, if it's acrylic. If your prep is on point and they look god awful like mine do, that means that your product is more likely to stay on. So I'm going in with LGN's rubber base. This is part of her system, and I don't know that I've showed this up close before, but so you put a thin amount on there and you really want to scrub it in to the natural nail, to any of that growth that you have, and then you'll pull it down kind of over the previous stuff that you have. Now, if you were doing a fresh set, you didn't have anything on, you would just want to scrub this into everywhere that you have a natural nail. We are going in with Dusty Rose from LGN. It's this like beautiful mauve pink color, absolutely 10 out of 10. And I'm using her oval number 6 brush. I'm just going to show you the gel application on one nail. So I start with a small amount. This is for my slip layer. I'm going to lay this on the nail from cuticle to free edge, from sidewall to sidewall. Make sure you're covering the whole nail. Do not cure it. Get a larger amount of gel. And you're going to push this up against the cuticle as close as you can get to it without flooding. If you do flood your cuticle, just make sure that you wipe it off before you cure it. I think there's a later shot of me wiping it off. I am using my non-dominant hand, so I'm just kind of at the mercy of whatever this hand's going to do. But I go kind of in circular motions from side to side, and I'm dragging the gel down to the free edge, and then I can kind of maneuver it. If I have any low spots, high spots, just drag this around wherever I need it to go. Clean it up. Of course, I always flip my finger upside down. Gravity just helps you put the apex where it needs to be, and it pulls it away from the cuticle and the sidewall so you don't get as much flooding. Without curing, I went back in with a larger amount so that I could get the strength and the structure that I needed. If you can do this in kind of one bead, go right ahead. I usually do it in 2, especially when I'm using my left hand. And then I cure each nail for 30 seconds. And then once I'm done with all 5, it's a full 60-second cure. And then I'm going in with my 100 grit hand file, and I'm just crispening up the sidewalls. And then I'm going over like the bottom 3/4 of the nail, like I always do. And I'm also crispening up the shape of the nail. So with these, they're kind of like a almond oval. They're not quite as pointy as a normal almond, but they're not as round as an oval. I wanted them to look like Easter eggs. So going in with my fine tapered drill bit, I have this on 10,000 RPM. I'm going to go up the side, over the cuticle, down the other side, over the body of the nail. And this is where you are really snatching those cuticles. You're really sealing them bad boys up. This is where I'm getting any lumps or bumps out, any high spots, any low spots, just making sure this nail is seamlessly blended. Also getting out any of the rough gouges that my 100 grit hand file left. 100 grit is pretty coarse for hard gel. You don't need that. Like, you could get away with 180. For me, it's just faster. So that's what I transitioned to. I kept the 100, 180 for if I just do someone else's, but for myself, I'm not trying to sit here all day long. I've got stuff to do. And then, as always, whenever I do a fill or any kind of set, I go underneath and make sure that my natural nail is blended into that extension, and that is just going to prolong the life of these nails. Make sure that my natural nail doesn't start pulling away from the gel, especially if your natural nails grow curved or sideways or any of the above. You definitely want to be doing that. I know some people are like, oh my God, you're taking your real nail away. Yes, I am. But this is the hand that 100% of the time has nail extensions. So it's okay. Here I'm showing you the strength. It is a night and day difference compared to what the other stuff was when I put it on. So I'm still going to come out with the Shein, like the honest review video. I'm working on that, and I will give you my thoughts on that. So I pulled out this really pretty purple color. That's one I got from Shein. And then this milky white was in my last haul from Shein. I didn't put a base coat on this time because I'm doing nail art and then I'm going over it with a matte at the very end. I didn't want these to be too bulky. And whenever I'm using my left hand, I have a tendency to make my right hand bulky. So I really try to focus on making sure that I have enough structure and that I have the strength, but that these aren't chiclets on my fingers. So I'm having to be super careful, super slow, because I'm not left-handed. Painting around that cuticle is a bear. Even when I get the brush out, it's just no. So this was one coat. One coat was very, very streaky. This is 2 coats, and I only did 2 coats of this purple. I was satisfied with it, and I think it's a gorgeous color. Then I went on to the milky white, and I'm doing those remaining 2, and this is the first coat. I ended up using 3 coats of this. Now, if you didn't have a dark color underneath it, I don't know. I liked it at 2 coats. I just liked it better at 3. So this is 3 coats. And then I did clean those off, and then I'm going to show you all the stuff that we're going to use. So I've got this beautiful dark purple by the Polished JR. This is from Shein. I use these all the time. Going in with the D&D, this is Baby Girl. It's this beautiful, soft, bright pink. Brilliant pink. She's a showstopper. That is the hottest pink ever, and I love it. This is the black that I got from Shein. 10 out of 10 recommend this. This thing is so opaque. I don't have anything bad to say. And then this gold liner gel that I got from Amazon. Do not know how to say the brand name. Not even going to try. And those are the colors we're working with. So I got out 2 different dotting tools. They have different size balls at the ends. And I'm going in with the smallest one. I got this tiny little liner brush, which I'm going to show you in a second how I used it. And then on the other nails, I didn't even bother with it. I just used the end of the dotting tool that was kind of straight and pulled the petals in, which that's going to make more sense in just a second. So I go in with a small dotting tool, and I did 5 dots. And then this is where I go in. There's barely any product on that brush whatsoever. I'm really sticking it in the little dot that I just made and then pulling the petal towards the center. Just so they're not 5 circle flower, it kind of pulls it in, just makes it look nicer. You do not have to be super precise with this, especially if you're going to put a color in the middle, which I am. And again, whenever I'm using my left hand, I feel like I gotta do the most complicated stuff where I need steady and I need control, and I do not have it. But in the end, I think these came out super cute. I'm very happy with them. But on all the rest of the nails I didn't record, I saved myself some time. So that's the little flower I've got. I cured it for about 20 seconds. That way, if I touched it with another color, it didn't run, or it didn't bleed into it. So I did cure for about 20 seconds after each flower, and then when I was all the way done, I did a full 60-second cure just to make sure that all the polish was cured, because these are very pigmented. Even though I'm not using a lot, I do want to make sure that the middle doesn't have wet polish. So on this one, I'm doing like a little crown. So I did 3 flowers just right across like the bottom 1/3 of the nail. So I've got a pink, that beautiful dark purple, and then I've got the hot pink, which is the one I'm doing right now. And I don't know, I love the way that this came out. Those are the 3 little flowers. And then for the leaves, I went in with the black. I didn't want to use any kind of green, and I'm using the black for something else, which you'll see in a second. And I thought the black would really tie it all in. So black leaves it is. But I think it's very cohesive and it's really pretty. And for this, I'm just making like little dashes. Since they're so small, I'm not really worried about like the whole shape of the leaf. That gold is what I'm using in the middle of the flowers. So I used a dotting tool that was just a little bit larger. Gave myself those little center dots. And then here with this gold, I'm drawing bunny ears. So what I did is I did just 2 thin lines, evenly spaced. And then I went in with that super tiny liner brush. I went from the top of the line and went down the left side and then kind of curved it back into the bottom. And then I started back at the top, went around and back down on the right side. And then I just kind of messed with them and got the width and the shape until I was happy with it. But it was super, super easy. It's a small canvas and I'm not left-handed. Like, I know I keep saying that, but you could even do the bent ear if you wanted, but that's my little bunny one. So these other ones I did off camera, so you didn't need to see me doing the same exact technique for flowers 85 times. On this nail, I'm doing like speckles, so like a speckled egg. So I'm using the dotting tool and I'm just making different sizes of black specks. I thought about chopping up some black foils and putting it in a top coat and making like my own glitter, but the only black I have is mixed with gold, green, and red. And I'm like, yeah, none of those match. So I just did it this way. Just dipped my dotting tool in the polish and then just did all kinds of different dots and like little lines and little specks, and I think it came out super cute. This is what we've got before I mattify them, and then I'm going in with LGN's matte, which is my favorite, and this was the end of this bottle. I was like holding it upside down trying to get just the last finger, which was the thumb. Just give me enough for the thumb, which I do have more, but I like to use every single drop. So I mattified those, 60-second cure. This is the final look. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Happy Easter to everyone. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, dolls.